sure. How can I say, man? The game didn't start off. I'll just say this real quick. The game didn't start the way that we anticipated. Offensively we had some struggles early on. Defense held us in, doing the normal deal that they've been doing all season. The only thing, the bright spot that we did have in the first half was pretty much the rushing yards. We controlled the line of scrimmage. I think that was the most important part about the game. I mentioned to the guys that this game would be won or lost on the front line, offensive defensive line, and that's exactly what happened. Second half we came out. Trust me, it wasn't the same. Wasn't the actual second half that I thought we would actually play. It was only three points scored, but we didn't allow anything on their behalf. So I take that with a grain of salt. But overall, great performance by our team. Great job of establishing the line of scrimmage in the run game. We didn't actually throw the ball as well as I thought we could have, being that it was a lot of man coverage. And overall, I thought it was a decent game plan. Coach Stepp and the offensive staff did a great job the entire week game planning. And clearly we know what Coach Ivy and the defensive staff have done all season. So we saw pretty much what it's been all year. And I think these guys are looking forward to next season.
What was it like to be on the receiving end of a Gatorade shower?
It wasn't good. Trust me, my hair is done. I know I sound real crazy talking about my hair. Trust me, that's not a manly thing, but I'm just saying in general. My hair smells like Gatorade. That's not a good thing. I promise you that. But I think the joy from the players, man. That's the most fulfilling part about the whole experience. Just seeing the smile on these guys' faces each and every day. And also just being on the opposite end of the spectrum. I came in as a player development, and now I have to change caps and put on as a coach. I got to figure out how to separate myself as a coach and a player development. Somebody who was like the big brother, the uncle, to now like a coach, and I'm sitting here and I'm demanding certain things from these guys. And I kind of heard a couple grumblings throughout the past 2 weeks, like this dude is on the other side. So I heard a lot of that, like Unc switched up on us. You get what I'm saying? I'm the same guy, it's just that my role has changed. I can't be so super easy and super kind. I have to be a little bit more demanding. I demand a lot from those guys as a player development as well. I take that role quite serious. I expect a lot of things from those guys because I know they can do it. I wouldn't ask them to do something that I know they couldn't do.
Deion, you mentioned that your first message was to the players was to kind of establish in between the line of scrimmage. But were you surprised that you guys were as dominant on both ends as you were in this game?
No, I'm gonna be honest. I challenged those guys last week, and then the week of, and then last night I really challenged the guys. I put up about 15 plays. Showed about 8 defensive plays, showed about 7 offensive plays. And just to show the players how dominant Cincinnati is on the defensive line, how dominant they are on the offense. Exactly what these guys do, what they love to do. They're a big shot team on the offensive side of the football. And if we don't play sound football, we will get beat. It'll happen. Defensively, trust me, we know exactly what they're all about. Their D-line is amazing. They have probably one of the best linebackers I've seen this season in Ivan Pace. This kid is an animal. And the fact that we didn't allow him to have an impact on the game, that was the difference. That was the total difference in the game. That one kid can shut down the entire game. And he didn't do it. The guys, they took on my challenge without saying anything to them. They accepted it, and they did. They went out and did exactly what we were supposed to do.
Deion, what was the process like that you did in terms of being a head coach? Was there anything that surprised you during this process?
Nah, I'm gonna be honest. I've been around a long time, man. I'm telling you, from college to playing 12 years in the NFL, to being a father, and my son is sitting right here, to 4 amazing kids, man. You look at myself as a dad, as an uncle. I have some couple of nieces and nephews, and now as a coach. Trust me, this task wasn't hard at all. was just more so making sure that myself, along with my great assistant coaches, get these guys undivided attention. You know, and for us to give them everything that we possibly could to put them in the best position to succeed these past 2 weeks. We did that, and that's why there's a lot of joy and laughter and celebrating in the locker room right now. It wasn't a tough task. It wasn't a tough week. I embraced it. The most important part about being in this position, you got to have an amazing support cast. And I think my right-hand man just walked in, Josh Thompson. That's the greatest guy. You know, a lot of guys don't understand and know what this guy do in the building. Yeah, that was my right-hand guy. I couldn't fail with this guy. I couldn't fail. Now, if he wasn't around, it probably would be a little different. You get what I'm saying? And that's being honest. That's being real. The next phase is just more so leaning on my coaches. You know, one thing I will say, Coach Satterfield blessed me with, he left me with a bunch of great assistants. We had 3 full-time staff members that stayed back because they love these young men. They enjoy it and they want to finish the season. You know, and then we fulfilled the role with 7 other quality control and GAs that I spoke about. And I'm gonna continue to speak about these young men because they deserve to be recognized. You know, they did an amazing job. Trust me, I had the easy part. The hard part was those guys. The easy part was, for me, was just to guide these young men. Those coaches did a phenomenal job, and I truly wish and I pray that each and every last one of my coaches get a job. You know, because right now when coaches start transitioning and moving and going different places, you kind of leave these other guys in limbo. You know, and unfortunately, I hope that these guys end up landing somewhere because they deserve it.
But you're retiring on top of those head coach.
You said, am I retiring?
Yeah, you're done coaching it.
Yeah, as of now, I'm pretty sure I'll get some phone calls. I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm pretty sure I get some phone calls to become some sort of head coach at some point. But I think as of right now, man, I'm enjoying. I'm relishing in the moment. And yeah, as of now, I'm retired. You know.
Coach, just speak on how rewarding it was to do it here, the first ever Fenway Bowl,
Yeah.
see those Patriots jerseys in the stands, and just feeling that love. How special was this experience to do it here?
Oh man, it was great. It was amazing. I think Josh knew all the while that the game was. We were playing in Fenway Park. He told me probably 2 days before. You know, before we left, 2 or 3 days. I guess he was trying to savor the moment for me. But coming back to Boston, I always felt like everything was fitting. You get what I'm saying? For us to have the opportunity to play in the Fenway Bowl. And then all of a sudden here comes Josh and the selection committee asking me to become the interim head coach. You know, the last task was to win the game. You know, I'm a firm believer. I believe in speaking things into existence. And I've been telling the guys all the past 2 weeks that the game is won. It's just all about how bad are we gonna beat these guys. You get what I'm saying? That's how I talk. That's me all day. The game is won. It's just all about how bad are we gonna beat these guys. But coming back to Boston, man, it was great. I think everything aligned exactly how it was supposed to.
Yeah, and your offensive line did dominate, but those 2
Yeah.
guys, Jaws and Maurice, can you
Oh, yeah.
speak about what they did, and Maurice being a young guy with 160
Correct.
yards?
Yeah, and I spoke to the media earlier, and they kept asking me about who I thought would step out of the shell. And guess what? I said Maurice Turner. You kind of get what I'm saying? And you can see these things happen because these young guys work so hard. And he's been asking all season. You speak about a kid like Maurice, who was stuffed in a room with 4 or 5 other good players that was ahead of him. Like Maurice was number 5 on the depth chart. I know it's probably shocking to hear this kid turn around and rush for 164 yards. He was number 5 on the depth chart. And somehow, and I always tell these guys, the cream will always rise to the top at some point if you continue working hard. If you just bust your behind, keep your nose clean, trust me, in terms of staying out of trouble, nothing bad. I don't want you all thinking anything bad. Stay out of trouble. You know, that's the most important part with these young men. They somehow tend to find themselves in some other stuff that they shouldn't be getting involved with. And Maurice was one of those guys that took the advice, took the coaching from myself, and did what he was supposed to do. Jaws has been this guy all season. For somehow, some reason, Jaws ended up being number 4 on the depth chart. How crazy is this? 2 guys that started the season 4 and 5 on our depth chart ended up being our main 2 guys at the end of the year. That's trust in the process. That's what it is. That's when I speak to these young men. These guys will be the 2 main guys that I will speak about the most this spring when I get to my player development role. Once I take this coaching cap off, which will start probably today. Tomorrow I'll be back to player development, and this is what I'm talking about. Trust the process. You know, all these young men coming to the university, they feel as if they're, they come with all these 4s and 5 stars because somebody has paid somebody to give them 4 and 5 stars. Instead of them understanding that you got to put the work in, and if you just trust the process, it'll actually happen.
Can you speak about next? I mean, for this program, how big is this?
Yeah.
Now it's, as you move on, it's a different day, it's a different guy in charge.
Yeah, I think it was just all about closing the chapter, closing the Coach Satterfield chapter, in which I love and I appreciate Coach Satterfield for giving me the opportunity to come in and to help mentally motivate these young men. But it was just all about closing the Coach Satterfield chapter and starting the Coach Brum chapter. You know, I asked those guys to just go out and give me their all, because this is you're going to get one opportunity, and it's all about what do you do with that one opportunity that you get. You get what I'm saying? And that's life. That's for everybody. Not in football, it's in everything. In sports, off the field, whatever you're doing. You're going to get opportunities in life. It's all about what do you do with it once you get that. And here it is. I think these guys seized the moment today. They answered my demands early on, or my challenge. You figure for these seniors, last year it didn't end well. The seniors end up losing the bowl game, and that left that little taste in their mouth. So that's why those guys that are seniors now, they were juniors. They get to go off into their next careers in life, or super happy, super excited about that last moment that they spent with this team. The 2022 team is over. The start of next year starts tomorrow. That's how fast this stuff happens. You know, we'll be sitting here next year, and it'll come just like this. At some other bowl game, hopefully it'll be a national championship. Well, we'll be talking about this same moment, Jody. Like, did these guys take all of the coaching? Did they take all the advice that you gave them? You know, and hopefully Coach Brum can go on and teach these other young men this first class that he's gonna have. And hopefully I'll be there to help him. That's the plan.
All right.
We good? Oh, sorry.
That's one.
When you, I guess, kind of still in the moment now, but when you look back on, these last weeks, just how everything's gone with just the coaching change, and then you now, being the interim head coach, how will you reflect on this period of time?
Me personally, honestly, I think just looking at these guys and how they didn't take the easy road. They could have easily quit. They could have easily just packed it up and just did what a lot of young men do, because they don't know. They don't know how my father would say, they don't know what they don't know. You follow me? I believe that, along with myself and the assistant coaches, we did a phenomenal job keeping these guys mentally locked in for 14 days with all the things that were transpiring within the building, with all the coaches. It's so hard for you to practice on Tuesday, and you come in on a Wednesday to practice, and next thing you know, the coach that was in the room on Tuesday, he's been plucked away on Wednesday. And then the same exact thing happens on a Thursday. You lose another coach, and then you lose another assistant coach. That's tough on these young men. But I feel for them. Unfortunately, we have a great support system at the University of Louisville that I hope will continue to move, and we'll continue to move forward with things. And we do things in a certain way that we're all here for these young guys, all these young men. We're going to give them everything that we have. I can't speak for any other institution, but I know what we do at the University of Louisville. And if there's any kid out there who's questioning about going elsewhere and want to go somewhere where somebody truly believes in, the coaches believe in you, and they have your back, this is a university for you.
Thank you.
Yes.